Good morning. Just thought I'd play with that for a second and see how it goes. My name's Amanda Noddings. I am a busy mom of two, one in heaven, two here on earth, and I am a hot mess. Basically, I'm a mom who's been at the bottom of the bottom, overweight, depressed, sad all the time, unhappy with myself, unhappy with where my life was, unhappy with my situation. And now I have kind of taken charge of my life and gotten it back and made huge changes in it. And it's all started with coaching. So I just wanted to share a little bit about me with you and then talk a little bit about my journey and also address one of the biggest objections that I know, because I can speak from experience on that one. So first, let me say hi. I'm a mom of two. Like I said, I work night shift at the hospital. I work 12-hour night shifts. And when I started coaching, I was working swing shifts, so 3 in the afternoon till 1 in the morning. So I have always worked full-time since I've been a coach. And since I started this journey, I didn't have any extra time in my day. I had a 3-year-old and a 4-week-old when I started. And I just, after losing our son, I was in such a dark place. I was so depressed. I was unhappy with where I was physically. I was unhappy with my life. I felt like things kept happening to me, coming at me from every direction all the time, that I had no control over. And I just felt suffocated. I felt trapped and buried, and I didn't know how I was gonna dig my way out of the place I was at. And since I had never been in shape, I didn't have something that I was trying to get back to. I just knew I needed to feel better, and I needed to start, and I wanted to do it in a way that would last, and that is fitness and nutrition. But I didn't know anything about that. So I started with just a little program called Insanity, and at the time I was 254 pounds. So I actually pulled up on my laptop a picture so I could show you guys, in case you haven't seen my journey. If you can see that, hopefully, then you can see that I used to be much bigger. You can see the curve in my back because I have scoliosis, so exercise was something that was almost out of the question because just daily living was so painful. I didn't have anything that resembled abs. I looked 6 months pregnant even though I wasn't, and I was wearing a size 24, 26. So I've come a long way on this little journey, and I have to say that as big as those changes are, as big as like these physical changes are in my body, the changes in here and here, they just blow all the rest of it out of the water. I started with Insanity, and even though I couldn't do any of the moves, and even though there was no modifier, I just kept trucking along, trying to fix my nutrition, and I just started showing up every day. And I ended up losing 35 pounds in those first 60 days. And what's interesting about that is I was still over 200 pounds, right? I was still over 220 pounds. But people started asking me, you know, you look great, what are you doing? I had maybe 100 friends on Facebook at the time because, you know, social media was newer. I was a little older, so I was not in college when Facebook came out, so it was kind of just a smaller thing. I had people I went to high school with, maybe some people I was friends with, and that's about it. And so I didn't have a huge social media following, and, you know, my posts would get 1 or 2 likes or comments, and basically all this leads up to just tell you that I had no reason to really think that this is something I could do. I didn't even have an Instagram, I didn't have a Twitter, I didn't have anything else, and I didn't really have any reason to think that anyone would want to work with me to work on their health and fitness. But I'm telling you now that it's been over 4 years, and I work with people all month, all the time, all year round. I have some people I still work with who have been working with me since the very beginning of my journey. And I didn't have to look perfect to do it. And that brings me to the biggest objection I hear when people talk about coaching. It makes me so sad, and it breaks my heart when I hear somebody say, oh, I could never do what you do, or I'd love to do what you do when I get in shape, or when I reach my goal, I'm going to start helping other people too, or as soon as I can rock a bikini, maybe I'll be a coach. When I started, I didn't have abs. I was over 200 pounds still, even after I lost the first 35 with Insanity. And I was talking to my coach about being a discount coach. I just did it for the discount. I'm cheap, I was broke, and I didn't know the value of what I was getting in Shakeology and how superior the nutrition is to the crap that you get on the store shelves. So at the time, I couldn't see the value in it. I just thought, well, if I'm going to get a challenge pack, it's going to be at a discount. It comes with the Shakeology. If I do it as a discount coach, I save 25%. And I put a date on my calendar to cancel it, to remind me on my phone so that it would tell me, hey, don't forget to cancel this before you ever get this again. But within like a week, I started noticing that I wasn't hitting that energy wall in the afternoon with 2 little kids working all night and going and being up with them all day, them working all night, sleeping 6 hours at best. Nowadays, more like 4. My plate was full. Aside from just the total tiredness that comes from being super depressed and being in a really bad place. What's crazy is that for some reason, I shared a picture on my Facebook of my day 1 of Insanity, and I didn't get not one like or one comment, not one thumbs up, not one person said good job or way to go. I think that it's kind of the whole thing, like if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. So there I put myself out there on Facebook with this first post, like I'm going to do this crazy workout. Look, here's my first after selfie. Excuse me, I have a chest cold. And I felt like I was going to die. It was not a flattering picture. My face is this big. I'm sweaty and red. And here I'm saying I'm 250 pounds and I'm like, I'm going to do Insanity. And not one person said, good job or way to go or you can do it. So there was no reason why I would ever think that I would make a great coach. But what's funny is what makes you a great coach is sharing your journey. So really I had already taken the first step without even knowing it. The reason I put it on my Facebook was because I felt like I wanted that extra accountability. I wanted to make it real. I thought that if I put it out there and said I was going to do that, that maybe 2 or 3 weeks down the road, someone would say, so how's that Insanity going? And I didn't want to be the person that was like, oh, I quit that, or I couldn't do it, or it was too hard, or what are you talking about? I'm not doing that. I didn't want to be embarrassed. So I put it out there as a way to hold myself accountable, even though nobody even said anything about it. Nobody really knew. And I just was kind of working through it on my own. Well, after I lost that 35 pounds, I posted the before and after of that, even though I was still 220 pounds. I can't tell you how terrifying that was. It was the hardest thing I ever did. And I believe my exact post, you can search it on my page. I started Insanity October 5th, 2013. Excuse me. And so when I finished it was in December of 2013, and I believe my post said, this took all the balls in the world to post, or all the balls I have to post. And I posted that before and after. Sorry, my grandfather's in the hospital, and this has been a rough couple days, so I finally got run down enough that I got knocked out with a cold from one of my kids. But I'm still here and I'm still trucking, and I'll get over it fast because I'm so much healthier now, so that's a positive. So anyway, when I posted that picture, a lot of people finally said, good job. You know, maybe 25 or 30 people liked it, and I was like, wow. And they said, great job. And people started saying, hey, what are you doing? And then they started sending me messages, hey girl, what are you doing? And I told them, well, I just finished Insanity and now I'm going to do T25 because I was back to work after having the baby and I didn't have any more time in my day. And so I thought, I'm only working out half as much now and my results aren't going to be that great, and I was embarrassed to talk about it. But I was excited when people would reach out to me because I wanted to encourage them and say, hey, you could do this too. So I decided to start a little challenge group with the people that said they wanted to do it with me. And I just started YouTubing and studying. What does a coach do? How do you sell someone a challenge bag? Somebody said to me, hey, well, if you're doing Shakeology, where do I get it? And I was like, I think you might be able to get it from me. I didn't even know. So I Googled it because my coach was out of town and I didn't have anyone to ask and I didn't know any other coaches. So I Googled it and I watched a few videos and then I was like, okay, hey, here's how you can get it. And I sent her a sign up link. And then I had my first challenger for my T25 group, which I was doing for the first time too. And I don't know what possessed me to think that maybe I could do it. I guess I didn't really think that. I just knew that people were asking for my help and I wasn't going to say no. And I knew that if I was sharing what I was doing, I could do that. And it was a private group, so it made me comfortable. And so I started this group and I ended up with like 30 people in that first challenge group doing T25 with me. And it is a huge reason why I had success on my own fitness journey. So even though I cut from insanity in 60 minutes a day to T25 and 25 minutes a day, I lost another 25 pounds. So now I finally was under 200 pounds, but I had already started coaching. And I just continued and continued until I finally lost 100 pounds. And the whole time I was helping people and sharing that along the way. And it took a lot of courage, I think, to be vulnerable and put myself out there. And I didn't have a big social media following, but I started doing the things my coach told me to do and adding new people and finding new friends. And we do that all as a team. We train you on how to do social media right so that people don't run away when they see your posts. So they don't go, someone's selling myself. So you don't go and change your name to Amanda, It Works Raps, Buy From Me, Keto Crazy, Noddings, right? You can just be you and have this add to your life, not be your life. At the time I started coaching, we were living in this rental house in a kind of a rundown neighborhood, and we had some domestic violence going on next door. We would listen to it. I would have my little baby there and my toddler running around the floor, my baby crawling next to me, and we would hear these people screaming in our living room because our house was so old and the windows were so cheap. You could hear everything they said right in my living room. And that became this huge driving force for me. What's your why? And I started just focusing on that. I gotta get my kids out of here. I want them to have a yard they can play in. I want them to have a neighborhood that I feel safe in. I want to play with my kids in my living room and not be worried a stray bullet's gonna come through the window. I want to let my kids play in the backyard and not be worried someone's gonna snatch them out of the alley behind my house. I mean, I know bad things can happen, but living in a really bad neighborhood doesn't help anything. And I just started setting that goal. We didn't even qualify at the time for a credit card. Our credit was so bad. And working as a CNA at the hospital, I made, in a assisted living facility actually, I only made about $12 an hour. So things were tight. We didn't have any extra at all. We lived paycheck to paycheck. And here I am, 250 pounds, thinking, I can build a business around health and fitness. Are you nuts? I didn't see it as that. And I didn't see this, I'm going to grow this huge team and I'm going to create this big thing. I saw it as a way to change my life and my situation and maybe to help people. And I told my husband that first day, if I can help one person not feel the way I wanted, the way I used to feel, then it was all worth it. And that is still true today. The very best part of my day is if I get a message from someone in one of my groups saying, oh my gosh, these pants fit for the first time in 5 years. Or like I went and got my swimsuit out and I was all sad and then it was too big and I have to go buy a new one. Those are the moments that choke me up. Those are the moments. Oh, the best one happened a couple weeks ago one of my clients I've been working with on and off for a couple years. She falls off the wagon, she gets on the wagon. Well, finally she did the ultimate reset with me and she's on the wagon. She completed it, she did amazing, she lost 25 pounds. And guess what? She messaged me the other day. I want you to imagine what this feels like. I said, well, what are you doing today? And she said, I'm taking my son horseback riding. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Where are you doing that? And she's like, well, it's down here, this somewhere, whatever. I've always wanted to do it, but I've always been over the weight limit, so I could never do it. And I was just like, holy crap. That is the coolest damn thing I've ever heard. You're taking your son horseback riding for the first time because you're not overweight to be on a horse. Like, those messages fill my cup. They make me feel like I'm making a positive impact. And whether I build this into a $1 million business or whether it stays the same size it is now, those moments are everything to me. And I started like this. I started at over 250 pounds. I started with no real reason to think that I could be anything that I am now. Living in the house that we live in that we bought for the first time. I took those little Beachbody checks I made in the beginning, $24, $50, $100, and I just started throwing them at our debt. Boom, 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 and paying it off. And anytime someone wanted to talk to me about it, I was excited to talk to them about it because I like helping people. And all I did was lead with my heart and come from a place of honesty and integrity and say, hey, this is what's working for me. Maybe it can work for you. And it changed everything in my life. And all I did was show up and do that consistently, day after day. 4 years later, 100 pounds down. I've got abs hiding under here that I haven't ever had any reason to think I'd have. I'm living in the neighborhood that we dreamed of living in the best neighborhood in our town with the number 2 school district in our entire state. Houses here are selling right now for an insane amount of money and double what we paid when we bought this house. And Beachbody helped me get here. And so I'm forever grateful, and I have a passion for sharing it with people like you guys because it could change your life just like it did mine if you put in the work and you come from a good place. So the income disclaimer for Beachbody is that your success depends on your effort, your diligence, and your skill as a coach. But I'm here to tell you that if you join this team, you will have all of us on this team, all the leaders who are going to be doing videos that you see this week, as resources, as people who have your back, as people who help you train to learn to do it right so you don't become some sort of social pariah or some dirty, oily, slick used car salesman. All you have to do is have a passion for what you're doing and helping others and do your damn best. And I know that every single one of you guys can do that. So if you want to be on this team, if you're thinking about it, if you want to change your own fitness, don't let not being at your end goal hold you back. Because if I had done that, I wouldn't be here now. Sharing your journey as you go is the most powerful part of your journey. And it's what I still do today. I have good days, I have bad days. I have trimmer months, I've done bikini competitions, and I have months like now where I'm just losing my winter coat like everyone else and trying to feel good and keep up with my kids and stay healthy. And that is what it's all about. That's what we all want. We want to do better, we want to live better, and we want to live, I always say, live healthy, live happy. So if you're considering joining this team, I hope you really watch all these videos, ask all your questions, get your questions answered. If you have any for me, post them below this video. I will keep checking in and making sure that I've addressed any questions you have. And I just want you to know that no matter where you are, I don't care if you're 300 pounds, if you're 255 pounds like I was when I started, you can still do this. I 100% believe it, and I know because I'm walking proof. All right? I love you guys. I'm so glad you're here to check it out. And if you're watching this on a repeat video later on YouTube, just check out the description below. I'll put all the links below the video so that you can hop in the Coach Sneak Peek, so that you can check it out, so you can email me, so you can find out more about us, you can hit me up on social, anything you need. All right, you guys, I love you. Thanks for popping in, and have an amazing day. I hope to see you in our team page. Bye.